Alright then, hi, my name is Alejandrina. This is some of my teammates, Erica, Javier, and Chris. We're doing a Road Trip Nation interview about psychology, and we'd just like to ask and see your point of view, how you figured out your role, and how you why did you major in psychology, and just try to talk about it. Why did you major in psychology? Why did you choose psychology?
Well, I actually majored in something called cognitive science, which is a lot like psychology, but a little bit more interdisciplinary, meaning it draws on some other fields as well. The reason that I chose it was just because it seemed like it wouldn't get boring. I'm really interested in how people think, and so it seemed like cog sci in particular, you get to do a lot of stuff with like computer science and math and biology, and I really like to have my hands in a lot of different areas instead of just one thing. So I thought it would stay interesting throughout all 4 years.
Why did you take such a drastic jump from math to geometry?
To geometry, it's teaching that I do, and it's not actually a big drastic jump from thinking about how people's minds work to figuring out how people learn, and that was always kind of my passion, is not just how do people think, it's not necessarily emotionally, but more what enables people to learn a concept easily, so that was always kind of my passion.
So you just wanted to feel like working with people and how they're where you work,
Yeah.
just not specifically in psychology, right?
Right, exactly. And math was always, I minored in math, just because that was always, I thought it was fun. So just bringing those two together, how people learn, and then math in particular, and then that is what I do for a living, so.
Are you happy with it?
Oh, I love it, it's the best, yeah, always fun.
Did you ever do outside something for
Probably going away to school was the hardest. I went to UC Berkeley. I grew up in San Diego and then moved about 500 miles away to go to UC Berkeley, and I was really, really close to my family. And not only that, but my entire family is in San Diego. I was the only person who wasn't there. So that was always really hard. Like when my cousins started having babies and I wasn't there, and I felt like, oh, they don't even know me, and I'm just gonna be a stranger. So that was probably the hardest thing, but it worked out. You find a way to be present even if you're not physically present all the time.
Do your skills help you or benefit you now as a teacher?
Chris, what do you think? Are my skills helping me as a teacher?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not sure how much the cognitive stuff. Well, I mean, I have spent a lot of time thinking about math and how because when I was in high school, I had really good math teachers and I had some really bad math teachers, and it's a thing where if you think about how to communicate it, you can communicate it, I think, in a way that makes sense. But if not, that's when you get people who just go, oh, math is hard, I don't get it, period, the end. So yeah, I think just the fact that I've spent a lot of time thinking about those ideas has really helped me not necessarily do everything perfectly, but at least take the time to think about what I'm doing and try my best to make sure that I'm presenting things in a good way.
Are you planning on staying a teacher, or would you like to, since you already did major psychology, or like the one that you chose from the beginning, are you planning, or has ever gone through your mind to go back to that?
Yes, it has, yeah. I've thought a lot about graduate school in cognitive science. For a long time, I was like, never, because I love teaching so much, and the idea of not being in the classroom just seemed like it would be so boring. But now that I've had a little bit more experience, I've started to really see that I think it would improve my skills in the classroom to take some time to really focus on pursuing something more in the field of cognitive science. And I feel like also the experience that I've had with teaching would help me kind of focus on a problem that I would like to solve. I feel like I could contribute to the field of cognitive science just based on all my experience with trying to teach people.
Are you like, how did you decide for your goal? When you got into college, when you decided, okay, I want to know what I'm going to become, or there's so many things in your head, and like, what made you decide and go for the right path?
I think the key for me, I never thought about what I wanted to be. I never thought about a career, not once. I thought about what do I love doing, and the two things that I loved, math was definitely one of them, and the other one was just like the mind, the brain. I was just fascinated and wanted to learn more about that. And I never thought like, well, what career is this going to lead towards? I just thought that sounds like fun, and I put my best into it, and I did really well in school, and that just opened a bunch of doors. It makes it, if you put your heart into what you're passionate about, the doors are going to open for you. You don't need to worry about, is this the right path, what am I doing? If you're doing what you love, there are going to be opportunities out there for a living.
Did you ever your family ever tried to stop you when you try to major or follow your dreams?
No, not at all. My family's very, very supportive, and they were definitely happy to hear that I was doing what I wanted to do. So I could have chosen anything, and as long as it was something that genuinely made me happy, they would have supported it. Just like
So you were always, no matter what you wanted to do, you thought you people were always there behind you.
people are always very supportive.
If people weren't supportive, just if something else, if it happened to you, like probably your family didn't support you or they weren't agreeing with you, what would you have done?
I think I would have done the same thing, it just would have been a lot harder. You really have to make sure that the choices that you're making are your choices and you're making them for yourself. And it can be painful sometimes if that causes a divide between you and the people that you love. But ultimately, the next 70 years are your life, and if you make your decisions and you determine your path based on what other people want for you, then, sometime down the road, you're going to wish you had to. So, and those relationships, even if in the moment you feel not supported or you feel like something's wrong or you feel like you're causing a divide, those relationships will mend over time. They will. But the decision that you make, you can never unmake. You can never go back and do it differently.
What were some obstacles along the way?
Obstacles along the way. Like what kind of obstacles? Are we talking like money?
Any?
Like funding college? I was fortunate enough. I worked really hard in high school, really, really hard, and I ended up getting a full ride to Cal, so I didn't have to pay anything. So that would have been a big obstacle, but fortunately didn't end up being so big on account of that. Besides that, being away from home was hard, but at the same time, I'm really glad I did that just because to have that home base in the Bay Area and my friends who are up there and to know that I have a home away from home is really special. So I'm not sure that I look back and see many obstacles. It was hard. I worked really hard, but it was always on the path to what I wanted to be doing. So it never felt like an obstacle. It felt like just another step that I.
Did you ever think that if you didn't major in psychology, your life would completely different the way it's now?
I don't know. I've always wanted to be a teacher. I think what made the difference to me, I think, is math. Just because I probably would have ended up teaching, but it might have been a different subject. I do really like English. I like reading a lot. I'm not sure that would have changed my life too dramatically. It would have changed the way I teach, but I don't know. Nothing else. There was never any other player in the running. I always wanted to do that, so I've never really thought too much about what would have been like if I had. I'm sure. When I look back, I'm glad that I chose what I did because I can't imagine anything else would have turned out better for me.
And up to today, as I heard, you still have some things you want, right? Like you said, you're a math teacher, yet you still love reading and you like to do it. So you're still, up to today, you're still not sticking to one thing. You're still trying to experiment and work that as well.
Yeah.
Like you have time.
Well, and that's, I'm young. You didn't notice. And I feel like one of the cool things about, this is my first year teaching Avid, and that has been a really cool outlet for all those other things that I want to do. Because math, in a math class, you kind of have to do math. There's no way around it. You can figure out ways to do other things, but at the end of the day, you're doing math every single day. And Avid is great because you get to do things like writing, which I love, and just working together with groups and all these things that don't come up as often in math. So that's been really cool for me, just as a teacher, to keep things exciting and be able to spend some time focusing on those other things that I find really interesting.
Thank you. What are your suggestions for us that we are still not clear about what do we enjoy doing? What do you recommend us doing?
I think the number one thing, you guys are really young, and so don't panic if you don't know right now, but the one thing, whatever you decide you love doing, you have to go after it and you have to work hard. If you are lazy or if you just expect things to fall into your lap and hope something happens, it doesn't. It's not going to. So don't worry about all that business of what do I really want to do, what do I love, because you know your heart, you know what you love. Just be honest with yourself. But when you find that thing, go after it 100%. That's the only way to make it happen in the way that you want your life to happen.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for having us in
You're
your
welcome.
meeting,
That was fun.
Thank you for allowing me to go by.
Cool. Okay. Yay! Do you have one?